wanted, because now's the time of New Year's resolutions and goal setting and like all this crazy stuff. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about some like self-reflection stuff, motivation stuff, things that inspire us, all that kind of amazing bullshit that people need in their lives. And I thought, who better to talk about all that shit with than someone who inspires me, which is Jules. And so I'm gonna give her a buzz. Let me get in here. Where is my Jules? Jules, where are you? Where are you? I like went to ping her. There she is. Hello. Start voice call. We don't need to be doing any video shenanigans. Hi.
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 How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Carrie Chat.
Hello. Okay. Let me just adjust some things. Okay. Cool.
Make me louder.
Yeah, because this music is like really quiet, but it's like heckin' loud. I don't understand. It's crazy.
Sometimes I need to be boosted in Discord too because my microphone just decides it does not want to behave.
You're already like hella boosted on my side, but now you're fine.
Okay. If you need a little extra boost, I can give you some. So just let me know.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. It's perfect. Perfect.
Yay.
As my boyfriend puts it. Perfect. So yeah, I just wanted to like just chill and chat and have. I can't drink my tea yet because it's like really fucking hot, but that's cool. But yeah, so I told you, so I prepared some questions because I wanted to like, because when I think about this stuff personally, I tend to need to structure it in my brain and walk through certain things in my brain when I think about things like what my goals are, what my priorities are, and all that kind of stuff. This tea it's half ginger tea and it's half like detox tea, because we need to get rid of all these toxins if we're going to be talking about
who the real
how to better ourselves.
Jibweb gifted a tier 1 sub to JulesRPG.
Thank you so much.
They have given 2 gift
that
subs in
actually
the
is
channel.
when you ask me questions, the gifted sub. Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you why that is so amazing later on. Well, I'm going to tell you why that's so amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Cool. Now look, I have to go get my thing. Let's go get it. Let's bring it over, because I'm not going to get up every single time. But I want to like set it up next to my on my desk as well.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, so we've had this for a very long time, just around the house, just generally. I tend to steal it. But I want to like set it up on my desk or something, and like maybe we can have like a Doge camera for it or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I love this thing. It's beautiful. I don't have any lights in there yet. We'll work on that, because I don't want to just have them like shoved down the bottom and then you can't actually reach them. That's so perfect that you get to be like the first one.
I know. I'm so excited.
That's like,
I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I see. Look, these like little gemstones. They're so cute. And then they just go in here. And so all these giant fucking balloons behind me, they're like, it's like you shrink ray them. And then I can like reach my drawers. So, yay! Because
you were literally laying in bed talking about how you can't move with any balloons behind you.
Yeah, like I can't. Write the sub names on them. I wish, but they're so tiny. I can't. I wish I could. And that was the same with the balloons. The reason I didn't do it with the balloons is because Sharpie, when the balloons deflate and get all wrinkly and stuff, the Sharpie rubs off onto literally anything in the vicinity. So you don't want to be cleaning that shit up.
You know what you could do? This is another. I'm totally brainstorming right now.
Oh, let's go.
What if you got like some fancy little papers with like maybe like glittery, like a glittery pen, and wrote the name, so you mixed it in there so it picked up something that picked up the light of your fairy lights. And then you could write the sub names maybe mixed in. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work or not.
No, that might though. It might though.
Or like
I'd have to look for something. I love cellophane, actually. I had to buy some. I actually need to buy some for Isabel's present because I need to stuff some stuff in there. Hi, Ali, by the way, I saw you. Hi, Mab. I literally just started stream. So anyway, one of my first questions was, what is one of your most memorable moments of the last year?
So this is definitely kerriTea. I'm gonna be like brutal tea, like
do it,
honest tea, because so on the good side of the most memorable moments was getting to make a podcast with Heroes Hearth that was just produced on my own. Because I've been podcasting for about 6 years. And during that time, I've been podcasting with somebody else, or it was somebody else's idea, or all of that, right? And so for this time, I actually did something that was just like my idea and the thing that I wanted to do the most. And Heroes Hearth was like, yes, we want to do this with you. So that was most
we want you to do the thing as opposed to we want to do this thing with you.
Yeah, well, and I had the idea initially, and I decided that I needed somebody to partner with, and so I approached them with the idea, and they said yes.
Nice.
And so, yeah, and that was a huge thing for me because I don't think I've ever done that. I've always podcasted with somebody else, right? So that was probably one of the best memorable moments, and then having it take off and having it be an opportunity to interview great people like you, and to get to know you guys so much better, right? Such a great feeling. But one of the not so great memorable moments this year, I've actually lost my job twice this year.
Yeah, that was a tough one, and that's kind of a little bit of a blessing in disguise, just because there's so much opportunity to like look at what you're doing and work out. Because I mean, like the same thing happened to Kagiri, right? And like she's spoken about it a little bit, so I think she'll be okay with me mentioning it. But like basically same situation, but she was kind of in the position where she was like, you know what, I'm doing my own thing now. I'm gonna see if I can push it and like see how far I can take it. And you know, if you have to, you always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. Always. All of this like HUC shenanigans. Have a backup plan, y'all. Like goddamn. Anyway.
I know. And that the scary part of that whole thing is that the backup plan, like the job was the backup plan, right? The one that I lost in June was the thing that I wanted to do the most, which would have been to work as a podcaster professionally, to work as a content creator professionally. But I was hired by somebody else. And he closed the company and moved to California and said, I'm not going to do this anymore, which left me without a job.
Left you hanging, yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, as it happened, it was like the moment where I was like, oh God, this was the thing I thought I was going to do for the rest of my career, right? And now what am I going to do? As a blessing, it's just turned out to be the situation where I'm going to be like, no, now I really know what it is I want to do. I want to be a content creator that works for herself. Not for somebody else.
Right? Same.
Just like you. Yes.
We'll get to like a lot of that as we like go through everything. But yeah, I 100% agree. And there's like all this talk in the past couple of days going around about like being professional and like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, honestly, that is so true in most workplaces, like corporate workplaces and stuff, where I find that a lot of people feel like they have no voice or can't get shit done or can't make change in their company. Yeah, that's gonna be the type of place where it's like when I was working professionally in like games and stuff, I got like so many warnings about not being professional, and it's like okay, let me just edit myself for 90% of the time, and you're not going to be happy doing that. Like that didn't make me happy. Like I just wanted to get stuff done, and I was told I wasn't being professional for things like bringing something to someone's attention, trying to fix an issue, like all these types of things that are considered like overstepping the line, you know?
Yes, and you were forced to be in a role that just made you money, but it didn't make you happy. And that I've been there, I've done that, and you know, the sad reality is that a couple of weeks before, like actually the week before Christmas, I had gotten a part-time type of work doing podcasting professionally, and it fell apart, and I lost that job, and so now that's the second one. So I am now searching. Basically, I need to just pay the bills and get it done. And
Yeah, for sure.
But I know, yeah, and so like. But when you have the experience of knowing like what you've done in the past and like, okay, yes, there are bills that have to be paid. Great. I'm going to make sure that that gets done. But the goal is always in sight. It's always in sight, which is to get out of that and be able to work for myself.
Precisely. Exactly. Yeah. And I'll circle back to it in a bit, but like for some content creator, like me, for example, like I'll use myself as an example because it's a good one. I'm not setting, so like these goals that you see on stream, these like follower goals, sub goals, shit like that, those are not life goals for me. That is not my goal for the year. That is not what I am trying to achieve to validate myself or consider myself successful. Those are fun things that I can bring into my content to do more fun stuff, to celebrate the fact that we got there. That's not like the term goal is used as in we are currently this much progress up to unlocking the next emote slot, something like that. That's not to say that I am measuring my success against how many subs I have, because that is not my thing. Because I've seen so many people like all of their goals for the year are just like, I want X followers, I want X subs, I want X this, X that. And it's like, okay, if you don't hit those numbers, then what? Mm-hmm. Like, are you going to beat yourself up over the fact that you didn't hit them? Or are you going to shift your goals into how you may achieve those things rather than I will achieve this thing and that's it? Like, I feel like there's more that needs to be put into it. So,
yes, because you're targeting something that has no, well, a lot of it has a lot to do with luck, right? Like you have to be in the right place at the right time. It's just, maybe you get, like, you can put in the work, right? You can go out there and you can start networking with a bunch of people. You can go to TwitchCon, you can start meeting a whole bunch of people. But as a content creator, the most important thing for you is to be true to who you are.
Yes.
And what it is that you do. So like, you know, you saying that you got, kind of ragged on at your old job for being unprofessional. That's what makes you Kid Kerrigan. That's what makes you one of the most unique content creators out there. And that's why all these people are coming in and sitting down and listening to you talk.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that stuff is fine. That's not to say that people shouldn't be professional or whatever. All I'm saying is that for those particular jobs, yes, it's true. You do need to sometimes bow to bureaucracy and like be professional and strip yourself down to small talk sometimes and things like that to be in that type of job. That's just how it is. That's fine. If you can do that, that's great. I was just one of those people that couldn't do that. And so it was actually good seeing people talk about that stuff, because when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I'm actually not that person. So that's great. Awesome. I'm not doing that anymore. Wonderful. But what I was getting at as well with like the goal stuff is, especially being a content creator, like, yes, you do, as you said, you have to pay the bills and stuff, right? But I don't want to have to be hitting these sub goals, relying on subs and all that stuff. So there's so much more that goes into how am I going to support this lifestyle that I love so much, that I work 24/7 just because I enjoy it. How am I going to set myself up to be able to actually be self-sufficient in that job, and be able to look after myself and be healthy mentally and physically without having to, like, I want my community to be a community, not my bank. Like,
yes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard someone say that. I think it was on one of Ashley Crisis streams. Someone that she was talking to mentioned, like, your viewers are not your bank account or whatever. And it's like, it's awesome. It does help a lot. Like, that's not to say that I don't appreciate subs or whatever. Like, that's awesome. Appreciate it, definitely. But especially with things like, you know, the gifting promotions and all that kind of stuff, it's very unstable. I just want to be able to build my business as opposed to my stream as well in the background. So, like, that's where a lot of this stuff that we'll talk about comes in, because we're kind of in unique positions like that too. And then, oh yeah, wait, what's my most memorable moment?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I nearly forgot to talk about it myself. What's the
You can't
most
just ask
memorable?
me and not answer it.
Yeah, right?
Make some goddamn cookies.
Oh, Jibwin, thank you so much for that sub. Thank you, appreciate it. Look, you get another one. I'm gonna have to, like, print out all the people that we get. I don't want to make too much noise. I'm, like, placing it in there, like, real quiet. Like, look at our 2 little nuggets in there. I'm so excited. This is going to be beautiful.
It's going to get so full. You know, here's the dream I want to see for you, and this is a great goal. Let's get multiple of those jars around your house with fairy lights twinkling in them.
That would be wonderful. We have so many vases like this in our house. I'm like, let's use them, mate. I am also, someone mentioned putting flowers in there. I am going to get more plants. That is one of my things for this year, is I would love some plants. I just need to look into which ones that will live in this room.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my most memorable moments, I think it was, I mean, one of the things was obviously getting partnered, but I feel like that's just an obvious thing that I worked so long and so hard for it that it would be almost negligent to not appreciate that moment, right?
Of course.
But it's not necessarily one of my most memorable. I think it's probably, it was mostly all the times that I got to spend with Arthur, honestly. Like, in this past year in particular, we had just the best time together ever. Like, in the first year that we were together, it was quite difficult to, like, manage our relationship and try to learn about each other and be lovers when you're not when you can't.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
So, like, you have a week to, like, learn about each other and each other's body and what you like and what you don't like and what annoys each other and all these things. But, like, in the past year, there wasn't any of that. It was like we had normalized and we just enjoy each other and each other's company, and we don't have to stress about it to the point where we're arguing about things. So I think it's definitely something that I keep thinking about.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's so true, because
yeah.
you're balancing a relationship across a distance, and then having, you know, that time is like, you look forward to so much of that time, and then it's there and you're trying to make the most of it until it's time to leave again.
You make the most of it, and then, like, one of you is just, like, a little bit pissed off and it's like, we do not have time for this. Like, don't do that. Like, but yeah, like, that's probably one of the things. That and last year's actually, like, last year's BlizzCon was awesome. Getting the chance to, like, stream there and, like, do more work there. That was, like, really memorable for me, was, like, the chance that I actually got to be there working as opposed to just kind of being there and trying to work there. But that being said, it wasn't one of my best BlizzCons because, like, I was sick and it felt like it was a bit stripped down, actually. Like, the whole Hearthstone area was just like, here's an office space with some computers. Have fun. And a stage.
This was a weird BlizzCon.
It was weird.
Very much felt like weird.
To me, it felt like a precursor to stuff that happened, but that's beside the point. Yeah. But yeah, it felt weird.
Agreed. Do you talk at all on stream about your future plans for you and Arthur? Like, what you guys kind of plan on going in the future?
I mean, we don't really, like, have any yet. Like, that's kind of the best part about it, honestly, is that, like, I mean, I mention it sometimes. It's not like I don't It's not like I go out of my way to hide anything, but
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, we just haven't really like talked about it because we both know that we're not self-sustainable currently. So trying to unite our lives too early is just going to be a problem. Like, we know that. We already know that. And he's very like thankfully insightful of that fact, because like I have been in relationships in the past where it's like, I'll do anything for this person and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you give your whole life to them and then they just give you fucking nothing. And it's like, okay, this is really difficult. And what are we actually doing, kind of thing. So yeah, it's really good that we're at the stage where we can just concentrate on our own stuff. Like, I'm grateful that like I have a chance to like do my stuff and still have a companion who's so wonderful and supportive and things, without all the extra stuff and stress that can get in the way.
Yeah.
When you're trying to like build a life together or whatever. So it's like, yeah, we'd love to do that thing. We just don't know how or when or where just yet. And it's not something that we're like stressing about.
Yeah. I can't tell you enough how wonderful it is to have a partner who understands the work that you do.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's such an important thing, because I didn't have that in my previous relationship, and that was a very large part of why it ended. Because
for sure,
as a content creator, you're a different beast. It's just like when you eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, and you know, trying to have a relationship on top of it is so hard. So I'm so glad that you guys have that, because man, you both get it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I really appreciate that. That, and like my parents too, like I'll come back to that later, but that having them understand stuff, or at least try to understand stuff, is like, ooh. And I've been meeting a lot of people lately, actually, like just like through friends, just through social gatherings and stuff, that are not only interested in what I do, like they ask so many questions, and in the most genuine and sincerely interested way. Like they actually want to know more about it, just in terms of like the business side of it. How do I feel about it? What is the next step for me doing that stuff, and like all those kinds of things, which is super cool. That's like really cool, like meeting people you've never met and they're just like, what do you do? And I'm like, I play video games on the internet and stuff and things, and they're just like, oh, that's great. Like, how, like, so what does your day look like? What do you do? How does it work? Like, they're just interested. It's so nice.
Yeah, and it's so different than it was, say, you know, when I started in podcasting 6 years ago. Nobody understood it, and I got made fun of it for a lot of time. Like I remember working at a job. I was working as an office manager for a job, and I was podcasting at night. And my boss was like, at one point we went to this trade show, and she met a friend of hers, and she was like, yeah, so, you know, Jules is a podcaster. And they were like, what's that? And she was like, they were both making fun of me. And I was like, that's not funny. Like that's not funny. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
She talks about video games. And then, but now, I mean, I just streamed this earlier this afternoon. My dad was hanging out in the chat with my chat. Like they were just
nice.
having a blast with him. So yeah, it's so different than it used to be.
Yeah, that's great. And then what's something you accomplished in the past year, whether it's work or personal or whatever? I think we kind of touched on that with the most memorable moments, but I feel like it just has a little bit of a different, like, what is the thing that you did?
Yeah, it's partly with that, and partly like me building up my confidence of knowing that I can do content on my own, and it's okay. One of the things I started doing this year specifically, and I've done it before, but I started going to therapy to try to work on that confidence level.
Yeah, nice.
Right? And so it was really a good a good thing for me to do. It was such a good thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized how much of myself I was giving away to other people without feeling like I was really getting enough out of it for myself. You know, it's very hard for me to be quote unquote selfish.
Yes, same. I have massive issues with that too. And
Yeah,
I think I know what you mean with that. Like you tend to be more of like a people pleaser a lot of the time.
Oh,
And
gosh,
so
yeah.
learning to kind of put your best interests first is like part of that balancing act, like without being rude or without like seeming I don't know, leechy is like the new word, or like any of these things. I get that.
One of those things was like me just being, you know, like okay or accepting the fact that I was always going to be second fiddle to somebody else. And I know that it's going to sound super cocky to say this, but I'm better than that.
Yeah,
I don't
totally.
need to, you know, I've always kind of let someone else take the spotlight in the stuff that I've done in the past. And I was like, you know what, this time is going to be for me. And that is a huge thing that I accomplished this year so far. And that's been with my podcasting and also just starting to stream recently too. And that took a lot of energy and mental focus to just say, you can do this on your own. You don't need somebody else to be there to guide you through this.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you?
I think mine is pretty similar. Because when I first moved back, like I wouldn't say it's like taking the plunge to like do my own thing, because it was like so much work. It was more work than I realized. And like a lot of the issues that I had with my body and just like being in pain and like all of this random shit, a lot of it just came down to like stress and anxiety. And all of that came from all the like stress and anxiety that had bottled up over 6 years of working in a corporate environment, going and just living on my own, spending tens of thousands of dollars on trying to do that, and then giving it all up to come home and start my own thing. Like that put a tremendous more amount of stress on me than I even realized. Like I didn't actually even know that I was that stressed out, because I'd been through such incredible stress in my job anyway, that like it's always just in the back of my mind. It's not something that I consciously think like, oh, this is making me stressed, I should do something about that. Like I don't notice it until my neck starts getting painful. I start getting like tingles in my clavicle, or like that type of thing, like some physical manifestation of the stress. And so it was very, so like getting that sorted. And one thing that I accomplished was like giving myself the time to like work out what the fuck was going on and what I was doing and where I was actually going. Because like I knew I wanted to make content and I knew I wanted to stream full time and like do all these things, but I couldn't just come home and hit the ground running without, after that entire like situation, without kind of letting things settle and letting my mind settle and like very slowly ramping up into it. So that was like a big thing. And then part of that after I got to that point was kind of shifting my mindset from being the person who just kind of very tentatively knocks on the door being like, excuse me, could I have a moment? No? Oh, okay, I'll come back later. Like changing from like that person into the person who is now like, do you have a job for me? Here is my email address. Let me know the details. I'll get back to you. Do not send me it in the DMs. I will not reply. Like, because I used to be that person that was like, oh, I'll just be the easy to work with person, blah, blah, blah. There is so much risk in doing that. The amount of sponsors that have approached me that I've had send me contracts, payment information, all this kind of shit over like Discord DMs. Like I had to make the mental shift of, it's not about me being easy to work with or not. It is about the business risk and my business in not getting that information in the way I should be receiving it.
Yep.
And actually doing this process stuff in a way that I can find the information if I need to. I have like my emails, I have my receipts, I have like all these things. Yeah, it's a level of professionalism that's different to the like overstepping a line situation. But yes, that kind of professionalism, like it's not now I'm just a streamer that does stuff, ha ha ha. It's I am building a business on this, and if I have to put in my tax forms and say I did this contract work with XYZ, and they say, okay, great, where is all the receipts for this shit? And or if someone claims that I didn't do something that we had agreed on and all of this stuff, that needs to be in my email or I'm not doing it. Yep. I don't care how much money it is. Like, yep. Yeah. I mean, I have the luxury of saying that because I'm like, I have a pretty safe space to be in right now. And I know other streamers that aren't, they like live out on their own. And so they have to sometimes pick up opportunities despite the risk. But like, I'm one of those people that like, I have enough stress and anxiety just happening generally as it is. I do not need that extra stress. I am not going to do that. So
absolutely,
like, especially if my parents are helping me out with things, I need to have the stuff in my email to be able to forward to them. Like, I'm thinking of it more now, like if I had a manager, my manager isn't going to go into my private DMs looking for information on shit. They're going to be in my shared inbox responding to the emails for me. So I need to not just be myself, but also be my agent, my manager, my finance guy. Like, all of these people is that one person. So I need to treat it as if I could go and hire a personal assistant and just be like, here's the email, go do the things. You know what I mean?
Yes. And this is honestly a thing that I need to be better at personally as well, because I've done this where I've had the interactions and things like that from DMs and in Discord and agreements being made, DMs in Discord. And I'm sitting here right now unemployed because I did not get things in writing that I should have gotten in writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I'm unemployed right now. And that really, 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 really sucks. And
totally,
lesson learned, right? Because it was a situation where they could just literally pull it right out from under me when things changed, and it happened. So, yeah. So listen to this woman because she knows what she's talking about. That's
why I keep banging on about it on Twitter. Like, everyone's like, oh, wow, this whingy bitch. She keeps going on about, like, business stuff and all these things. I still have an unread message in my Discord DMs from someone who I asked not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times over the past 6 months to email me this kind of information that I refuse to read, because it's just like, it gets to the point where it's like, I've told you. I don't know how else, like, I'm not going to like bow to your standard of business because I don't want it. Like, that wastes so much of my time. I don't have time for that shit. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so yeah, that was like a big accomplishment for me, was definitely like that confidence thing, like having the confidence to feel like, no, this is my business now and I need to treat it like a business. And that means if I don't do this thing, no one else is going to do this thing. And it is what it is. That's it. Mm-hmm. I have only me to rely on for these things.
Yeah, and in one of the things that I will kind of go out on a limb here, and as women, we tend to be a bit more trustworthy, or try to be, as amenable to other people.
We definitely try to be more easy to work with, for sure.
Yeah, because, because as a female content creator, I feel like I have to work twice as hard a lot of times for the same opportunities. And so there's that feeling of having to be bent over backwards to try to make sure that somebody is accommodated or and that kind of thing, because you may not get another opportunity like this, and blah, 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 blah. And, I am notoriously too nice. I am notoriously too nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I
used to be.
So I'm getting my bitch side. This is why I need you in my life. Why I'm so glad that you're here. Because
and we'll get to that too.
Yeah, I need to have more bitch in my life.
You need that sass, gotta get shit done. Mr. Notorious Rage, speaking of which, perfect timing. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like that's definitely like, and a big part of that for me was actually Kai Berries. She has a very I appreciate her business mindset. I'll talk more about that later too, but yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what's an event that changed something about you for the better?
You're talking about this year specifically?
Well, like, you know what? It doesn't have to be this year. Let's just talk about in general. Because when you're doing like this type of reflection, it doesn't necessarily have to be like just because it's a New Year's resolution type thing or whatever it is that you want to call it. I don't really do the New Year's resolution thing because I feel like that's putting things off until a time to do the thing. But if there's something that still sticks with you, then it's totally relevant.
Okay. So, I mean, I spent so much time working for corporate environments and big companies, and slowly I've started to, over the time, like I started switching to startup companies and working for startup businesses. And my last job, the one that was the dream job working for as a content creator, was for a startup business. And in America, we have the very lovely, not so much issue with our healthcare, where if you don't have a good job, you have to pay for your own healthcare. Yeah. And I had always been given and had the mindset that I needed to have a job that paid for my healthcare and all of that kind of thing, or I would never make it. Yeah. And slowly over time, working in startup businesses where it didn't have benefits, you're doing it on your own. And so I want to say that the best thing that happened for me is to get out of my own way in terms of what I'm able to tolerate. Because there's been so many absolutes that I've said, right? Like, I'll never be able to work for myself. I'll never be able to be an entrepreneur. I'll never be, well, I've pretty much stripped all that back down again, and like I'm paying for my own healthcare, and it sucks, but I can do it.
Yeah,
right?
Nice.
Right? And so it's
good.
like this situation where I have basically stripped back all of the things that I thought were absolutes and realized that they weren't so absolute as I thought that they were. Another one, which is pretty interesting to me, is that I always felt like I could never be alone, right? I could never be single. I could never not have a boyfriend or a husband. I have been single for 3 years. I live on my own. And I love living on my own.
That's good.
I love it.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, do I get lonely? Yeah. Do I miss having somebody in my life? Sometimes. But that was another absolute that I always believed, which was that I was never going to be happy if I didn't have somebody in my life.
I was exactly the same.
Yeah. Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I know I can be happy on my own, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
That good being single equals less stress. Very insightful, Ninja. It's such a get a doge.
I have a kitty. That's enough.
That's great. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm so grateful for my relationship with Arthur because I had the same thing. Like, even though there was like this whole period of like, what the fuck is going on? I had that problem because I never knew what it was like to live life without clinging to that person for dear life.
Yeah, having somebody in your life that you had to support you, right? To, literally hold you up.
Yeah, or just like having them around all the fucking time and like, and I needed that, like I needed them around me. And so my relationship with him was so nice because I still had that support and companionship and whatever, but I have enough space to be able to work out who the fuck I am and what the fuck I'm doing. And so like that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's when you get to that point, it's such an amazing feeling when you are someone who feels like you had to have somebody in your life or you weren't complete. It's such a
that feeling. Yes, precisely. And then the other one was because Kagiri posted something on Twitter. I can't remember what it was. What's a trait that you really like about yourself or something like that?
Yeah.
And when I like moved to America and like did that whole thing and like moved back, I was just like, oh my God, I can do literally fucking anything and not die. Like, as long as I still have my body, like, like I can fucking do anything, mate. Like, the amount of stress and bullshit that I put up with, both at like my jobs for that, whatever, 5-6 years, and then like moving, and then moving back, and then the packages would, although I had 5 giant boxes of shit, and then whichever company was supposed to come and pick them up never came to pick them up, and I was on the plane tomorrow, and we somehow managed to like transport these boxes, and I got home in one piece, and like I'm alive, and all my shit made it home, and it was after that I was just like, I can do fucking anything, mate. Like, I don't care. Like, I can live through anything, and I'll be fine. Like, it might not necessarily be the most happiest or like the worst time, but at least I'll still be around. Like, that's good. That's good to know, and like have confidence in myself that like I'm chilling.
Yeah, and I went through something somewhat similar to that. I mean, after my divorce, I moved 3 times in 18 months.
Oh, that's so stressful.
3 times. One of them across a different state in the U.S. and changed jobs, and you know, it was like all those things where it was just like something, when you think about how much you are capable of handling, but you don't actually think about it until you get there, and it's so great when you can say, I can do anything, fuck you. Yeah,
exactly. And that was a massive thing that I kept talking about with my therapist last year, because I think I had an anxiety attack or something at some point, and I didn't know why, because I'd already been back in Australia for like 3 months. So I'm like, and I was just randomly sitting I don't know if I went through this on stream. I think I did at some point, but I was just like sitting, I just went to the mall by myself. Like, it was just a normal day. Nothing was going on. Nothing happened. I had moved back to Australia. It was 3 months after I moved. I was just chilling at a burger place, having my lunch, and I'm like sitting there eating this burger, and then I just like had this, you know, that feeling of like the shortness of breath just before you want to start crying really bad, that just like I had that feeling for like 10 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck? This isn't normal. I don't know what is happening. Like, is this an anxiety attack? Do I have anxiety? Why would I have anxiety? I'm fine. Like, what the fuck is going on? And so after an incredible amount of stress trying to work out how the fuck to actually see someone for my mental health, because that process was like a whole other fucking ball game here in Australia, which I thought was bad enough over there. But my therapist was talking to me about how apparently the act of moving your domicile is like, apparently is like the second most stressful thing to humans than underneath dying. So like dying is number 1, and then moving house is like the second most stressful thing that humans can experience.
Yeah.
Like, what does that say about us these days? Like, and so she was like, you know, you didn't just move next door, like you moved freaking countries. Like, that's stressful. Like, did you even get to like settle? Like, what, like, are you okay? Kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know. Am I good? Like, and so, yeah, it was like this whole like conversation on, I didn't know how full my glass could get at any particular time, because as I said, I'm one of those people who I might be stressed and I don't know it until I get a physical manifestation of it. But most of the time, I don't get that physical manifestation of stress until my glass is already overflowing. So I have to like keep doing stuff that I have to keep doing things that feel trivial and feel pointless, just because I know in the back of my mind that it's probably a good thing to meditate today, just in case tomorrow I overflow the cup.
Yep.
So yeah, like I always talk about like meditation, yoga, and all these things. Truth is, I haven't done them consistently for a long time. I haven't. Last year I did because I needed to. Like I had to. Now I'm a lot better at noticing when I'm just heckin' tired or like I'm burning out now. I'm gonna go and lie on my couch. Like that's fine. If you need to do it, then do it. But you got to organize your work in a way that you can still, you know, pick up where you left off once you're better again.
Yes, and especially because you work for yourself.
Yeah.
And you work from home, and I deal the same damn thing you do, which is that I can't leave it. It's here. It's always here, and it's always nagging me. So, like yesterday, I said every week now I'm going to take one day off where I just don't do any work. And I had to literally, like, mentally browbeat myself to not,
same.
like...
I did that last week.
Yes! And I'm just like, no, you cannot answer that email. Don't. You can't. Go watch a fucking movie or something. Like, you know? And I fought with myself for, like, probably half the day, Carrie. I was just like, I can't get rid of that urge to to just do one more thing. And I had to say, no, you are not doing stuff. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's such a
like why aren't you doing things? Like what is this? And then last night I was finally like it was like 7:30 and I was like I'm really heckin' tired. I'm just tired. Like I know I want to get back to the gym tomorrow. So, and I know I have to wake up early to do that. So let me just go to bed and just read for an hour and like whatever. But then I ate I was a little bit hungry, so I ate this pastry my parents brought home from our family friend's house, and I felt so sick for like 2 hours. I'm like, fuck, now I ruined it. I'm gonna have the worst sleep ever. Then tomorrow's gonna suck. And I'm like, oh. But then it turned out okay. We're alive. Everything's fine.
Yes, you could do anything.
And then, so my next question was, okay, wait, we might have a meme incoming, but can your chair do this? Do what? I'm waiting for the meme.
Bring the meme.
I'm waiting for the meme. It's not coming though. I guess I don't know. Was there a point to this?
They got tired.
Okay. They were like, let me try it. No, okay. No? I think that was it. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. That's fine. So my next one was actually I might flip these around.
Okay.
In terms of like to follow on from something that changed you for the better. What is a habit that you changed, altered, or added to your routine, and how has it affected your life?
This year particularly, I have been making it a point to try to get outside more often, which is really kind of tough in Minnesota, especially in the winter.
Oh, you just reminded me. I didn't take my vitamin D today.
God, don't do that one with yeah. So like yesterday, for an example, it got up to 45 Fahrenheit yesterday, which is pretty warm for a January in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I slapped on my hat, my gloves, and my scarf, and I went out for a walk with Pokemon Go, because I've been playing Pokemon Go since like the middle of July. And I just walked for almost 2 hours, and just because I know that I'm not going to get another chance to be outside for a while, because I hate the cold. I hate it.
Yeah.
And because I work from home, I could sit here forever. And
you can get heckin' cozy. Yeah.
Girl, over New Year's, I realized that I had left my house on the Friday before, and then I didn't leave it again until the Wednesday after. Like, like, what is wrong with me?
I do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I should like go grocery shopping or something.
Yes, and I'm like, I should go outside. So anytime the weather is good, I make a point of getting myself outside for a walk, which is a direct thank you to Nicole and Tim from Heroes of Fitness. They're the ones that influenced that 100%. It was, because I know that there's just going to be those limited opportunities for me to do that, and also just get moving, because I'm so good at just sitting on my butt.
Yeah, same. I really like people are like, how do you do all that? And I'm like, it just got to the point where I just had to do the thing. Like, What team are you in? I'm Team Misty. I don't remember what I was. Wait, let me open it real quick. I haven't played it for a while because I get issues in my clavicles from playing the video game. Because I hold my phone enough as it is, just Twitter, Instagram, all of those things that I have to do, like for my brand and shit, that if I added Pokemon Go on top of that, I would consistently get like pain in my clavicle just from like being like this and like doing stuff.
Wow, yeah.
Or if I'm like in bed, like, what am I? I'm red team. What is that? I don't remember anymore.
I don't remember the name of the. Okay, so I'm the blue team.
Yeah, blue team. I'm red team. I don't know what that is. I don't know anymore. But I have a white Vulpix, which is heckin' cute.
It is heckin' cute.
And then so one of my things was, wait, where's my notes? I lost them. Okay. So one of my habits was definitely recognizing that because of how much pain my body can be in when I don't move, like it's one thing to just like sit on your butt, but when sitting on your butt actually causes you physical pain, like that's a problem. And so it got to the point where I was like, my back is hurting, my like shoulders are hurting, like I need to, and I know that when I'm active, I don't get that pain and my body holds itself together better and like all these types of things. And so I was like, okay, I have to go to the gym consistently because I need to like do weights and like work on all of these things. And then that led me to like, how am I going to make myself go to the gym consistently? Because the problem that I ran into was if I would, because my parents and I all joined the gym together, right? And the problem was that I would try to go in the evenings with them, but if I would do that, then I had in the back of my mind all day, if I was working, I was like, I should be at the gym. And then if I go to the gym instead of working, I'm like, oh my God, there's all this stuff that I need to do. I should be working right now and whatever. So I just said, fuck it. I'm going to give myself a new schedule where I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to the gym before I even know that I went. I come back and that is my morning routine now. And I start stream, like I aim for 9 a.m. but of course we have technical issues and whatever sometimes, and sometimes it pushes it back a little bit. But, you know, that's okay. Most people come late anyways. But yeah, so that is how I created that routine. And I'm like, I know that I need to do this for my well-being. Like it got to the point where it was like, if I actually want to be remotely happy and productive, I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to get work done. I'm going to feel guilty all the time. It's going to make me stressed and it's going to snowball and whatever. And so if I know that I have to get up at 5, I have my little, like, I basically like took strategies to make sure that I have enough sleep to be able to do that, because I'm not one of those people that can have like 3 hours sleep and be fine and do shit. Like I cannot. So in my like bedtime app on my phone, I was like, I need to wake up at 5. I need 8 hours sleep, or like eight hours sleep, because we all know like you might go to bed, but maybe you take a bit longer to fall asleep or whatever. But I try to aim for that 8 hour window, because I'm also one of those people who, if I happen to go to bed late, I do not check the time, because in my brain, it's still 8 hours sleep, mate. It still is in my brain. If I look at the time and I see that it's 2 a.m. before I go to bed, then I have a shit sleep, because I know, because I'm conscious of the fact that it's 2 a.m. and I'm only having 3 hours sleep.
And I've seen you going to bed kind of late in the last couple of days.
Yeah, oh my God, my last week was absolute trash. That's one of my other habits is I'm now completely straight edge. Like after New Year's, like I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. Like this New Year's, I should have been in hospital. I legitimately should have been in hospital. Yes. And that's so embarrassing to say for someone who's 31 years old, who's like, so like, I'm pretty responsible. Like I'm fairly like, I get my shit done. I work really hard. Like I don't go out. Like I don't go partying. It's not a thing that I do anymore. But I'll get to it in a second. But yeah, so I took strategies to like make sure that I can wake up early. So part of that is, I have like a natural, like, what is it? Like a sunrise lamp thing which helps me get up because our sunrise doesn't happen until 6:30, but I'm up at 5. And I kept making the excuse to myself, I can't wake up without sunlight, blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit. Get yourself a body, what is it, whatever the fucking light thing. Basically, it like emulates a sunrise. It emulates like a sunrise. In Melbourne, in Melbourne, it's like 6:30 or whatever. By the time I finish gym, the sun's out, basically. So I had one of those lamps for a while. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to set it up and I'm going to make sure I actually set it up. And so now it's great. It's been wonderful. Like, I love this schedule. It's just, the past week it was trash because I got so blind drunk on New Year's at my friend's house that I don't know what happened, and I didn't ask my parents, and they didn't bother telling me because they know I don't want to know because I saw that mess in the car. And I remember vaguely falling out of the car at some stage. And I remember being stuck in the bathroom all night long, or God knows, I don't know. And I don't want to know, basically.
Oh, Carrie.
It was basically just like one of those situations where it's like, I'm not making excuses for myself. I can't. Like, I did a stupid. It was one of those situations where, like, you're in really good company, there's great conversation, and there's just bottles of wine just chilling on the table, right? And so it's like, you're just like sipping away and you don't even know, and then your wine's filled up again and you're just like, oh yeah, this is great, we're having such a good time. And like, I know that I'm in a safe space. I know my parents are coming to get me later, so that's fine. I don't have to worry about like how I'm getting anywhere or whatever. I'm with people that I enjoy the company. All of these factors together led to all of a sudden at the end of the night, like, I was fine. I was absolutely fine, a little bit drunk, and then I was just not fine at a point. And I legitimately don't know what happened. Like, and I don't, like, I know basically what happened because, like, shit hurts. And, like, I went to the physio because after the 2 days of work, I wasted lying in bed feeling like absolute fucking trash because of my own mistake. That was my first 2 days of 2019 that I wanted to go in with a positive mindset and work really hard and like all of these things. I was stuck in bed for 2 fucking days. 2 days. And when we were supposed to do this segment last week, like, my computer was having all of those issues, which was a blessing in disguise because I went back to bed and slept for another 6 hours after sleeping for like 18 hours the previous day. So, like, I just don't fucking like it. And I would rather, it's like one of those things where if I'm at home, like, and I just have a glass of wine with dinner, like, that's one thing. But in my family, it tends to be so easy to binge on things. Binge on films, binge on food, on cookies, on fucking on work, like literally binge on work or on games or whatever. But keeping all of that stuff in moderation is again another stressor, and I don't need more stresses. So I'm trying to cut all of the shit that makes me stressed. If someone doesn't want to email me shit, fucking chop that. That's fine. I just won't talk to you. That's okay. That's like less stress in my life. If I know that I may struggle going to a friend's house and feeling so safe that I can allow myself to have a glass of wine, if I have the sense that I could potentially binge now, I'm just not going to fucking have any. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to have my water and I'm just going to like hang out because like, I don't want to risk it. Like, I should have been in hospital with the drip. I should have been. But I'm glad that I wasn't because other people need those fucking hospital beds that don't do dumb shit of their own accord. And the thing is, like, I've had these situations when I was younger. It's just that until this particular situation came up, like, because these things have happened to me when I was a kid going out at the club and shit. Whether it was someone spiking my drink or like someone trying to impress me and buying me hella amounts of drinks and me being a naive fucking teenager or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Shit's happened before. My parents have been there every fucking time without fail. I'm so lucky, by the way.
You are.
Pretty much the same thing happened to me 2 nights before New Year's Eve, so done with alcohol now. Okay, good. Me and Angry are like, we're gonna keep each other honest. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like now, and it's there's always like this thing where it's like, oh, just had a drink. Like, are you sure? Gonna have a beer, whatever. Like, no, it's fine. I don't want to. It's fine. I don't have to do shit I don't want to do. Like, that's like, that is one part of my mindset going into this year is, if I don't want to do shit, if I don't want to do something, I'm just not going to do it. Like, if I don't want to talk to someone, I'm not going to talk to that person. If I don't want to do viewer games in HOTS because it stresses everyone the fuck out, I'm not gonna do it. Like, let me just play solo queue for a couple of games. That's just less stress. That's just me being like, this particular thing gives me stress, and I do not want that thing in my life. So,
the viewer game thing, the drinking thing, it's a lot of it is about social expectation, right? It's just like,
yes,
the viewer game thing is like, hey, we expect this of you, and therefore you're feeling like you have to deliver that, and it's an awesome thing and a liberating thing to say, this is my life, this is my stream, this is my content. I would like to do it this way because it's making me stressed out.
Yes,
and I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, good for you. And can I just say how much I admire you? Like, I admire the shit out of you.
Awesome.
Talking about this.
I mean, it's some
so
heavy
honestly,
shit, right? Like,
I know.
Like, to me, not so much, because I spent my 3 days of shame with myself. Like, I didn't hide from anyone the fact that it happened or anything. I was like, well, fuck, that happened, or whatever. But there are people that struggle with those types of problems on a consistent basis, like all the time, that can't talk about it because I have that feeling of shame and like people are going to judge them or whatever. I'm like, mate, listen, I fucked up royally. Like, I know that. I know I fucked up royally. Like, when my dad is asking me if I'm okay for like the next 5 days, like, shit went down.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Fat 94 was like, I do not like stress merchants. And I'm like, yes, me neither, my dude. I feel you.
No.
He's one of my favorite HOTS people.
No. Rest in peace, HDC.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that was like one of the big like changes for me, like that, because the thing is, like, last year, after the stream that was another bingy situation that I had, was when I did the Sea of Thieves stream with Arthur. Actually, that was probably the one time that we argued all of last year, was that one stream where we tried to play Sea of Thieves together, and it just turned into like a domestic live on Twitch. And I was enjoying myself some rum and coke during the stream because pirates. And because of the tension from us arguing, I didn't realize how much I was drinking. And that I was like, wow, that was a terrible mistake. This shit gives horrible hangovers. And then I didn't have any for like months. And I actually kind of liked it. And then the thing that got me drinking wine was the fact that I was trying out that new diet that I had. And they were like, oh, red wine is like the only alcohol that's like actually beneficial for you to drink. And I'm like, oh, wonderful, an excuse to drink red wine. Great. And now I'm but now I'm seeing everything in a way that like in terms of my diet, not everything they tell me that I can eat. Not everything that they say is bad for me to eat is necessarily horrible for me. Like, I can still have like a little bit of tomato here and there or whatever. And if I choose to not eat certain things that they tell me are great on this diet, then I can just choose to be like, I don't want to do that thing. I don't want it. Like, it's just like coming to terms with the fact that it is just a recommendation. Like, that was like a big thing. So, yeah. It's kind of like Twitch guidelines. It's just a guideline, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, so those are like my habits. So I habitually now get super duper tired by like 8 p.m., which is wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, because you're getting up at 5:30.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I'm already, like by the time I start streaming, I'm already up for 4 hours, and that's basically just my morning routine.
Yeah.
I spend 4 hours on my morning routine, chat. 4 hours. Like that's ridiculous. It's a personal choice for me. Yes. That's totally fine, and you should feel totally fine with that being your choice. 100%.
Yeah.
My next question was, who are some people that inspire you, and what inspires you about them?
Well, I already
So
said
we
this,
spoke a little bit about stuff, but yes.
Yeah, you inspire me all the time. I'm not kissing your ass. I really do mean that. And the reason that you inspire me so much is because I just love the fact that you tell it straight and don't allow people to make you back down on your opinions, but you do it in a way with kindness and positivity. And you know, we deal with too much on the internet with people are just like, this is my opinion and fuck you, you know, and I hate that.
And that's so different to saying like, you know, I want to know more about your opinion, but this is why this is mine. But like how when I was talking about the viewer game stuff and communication stuff in HOTS, that was me completely admitting defeat, because I was one of those people who and like one of the people who inspires me now is also Ferociously Steph. Yes, the way that she does her the Trans Tuesdays segment on her channel, like I just like popped in because I was like, I want to have some conversation. I like these, and it was just super nice and chill and like just chatting and whatever. And we share some like philosophies on those things, but so. I mean, like, we've butted heads in the past, me and her, on the voice comms issue in HOTS. I was one of those people that was like, how the fuck am I going to play the game if I can't fucking talk to people? Like, how? That's not possible. Right. That's not a thing. But now, like, I 100% admitted defeat. And I don't even, when I'm playing HOTS off stream, I don't have any fucking voice comms. I don't even join team chat. I'm just sitting there and playing the game. I don't even bother like getting into the chat at all. And I've had better experiences doing that than sometimes when we even have 5 people like who we regularly play with on voice comms. Like we have the comms, we can communicate, or we try to communicate. Sometimes some people are in the voice chat, but they just don't. I don't know what happens. I don't know if they're like watching like 10 other Twitch channels at the same time as they're playing, and so we have to say things like 6 times for them to react, or like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's 100% like less stressful just playing the game with no communication sometimes. It really is. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Y'all are right. I was wrong. That's cool. Like, wonderful.
And that is something that's probably one of the most important qualities that I look for in a person, is the ability to admit when you've said something and you go, you know what? I wasn't correct on that, or my opinion has changed based off of this, or I didn't, I just did that today. So my main podcast that I started 6 years ago is going to be ending in 2 episodes. And we've had a Patreon for that podcast for about 4.5 years now. And it has been one of those things that I have felt like I've never been able to do right. The best way and we're closing that Patreon down now because obviously the show is ending. And in my final statement to the patrons, I apologized I said, one of my biggest regrets is that I don't ever feel like we did this Patreon the best it could have been. And I'm sorry for that, because these people have been paying me for 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And, that's what I look for in people, is to be able to admit that maybe I could have done this better, or I feel like I could have improved this, or I feel like I had this opinion and I've rethought my opinion.
But like without making excuses for it,
Yeah, exactly. It's like
you don't. No one cares about like the other part of it. People just care about like where are you at now. Like people don't like you don't have to justify why you did the thing previously. Like
But there's that feeling of like, like you feel like some people just like, well, I felt like this because. No, you don't need to be defensive about it.
Yes.
You just have to say, this is what my thoughts were
being defensive. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. And just say, you know what? I've learned from this experience. I've learned from this. I've understood that I've grown from this. I've changed because of it or as a result of it.
Yeah.
And so in terms of people that I admire in that respect, Workhorse from Heroes Hearth is one of those people on that list for sure. He is an incredible human. I don't
actually know him like personally or anything. I just know that he's quite pleasant from my limited interactions.
Yeah, and one of the things that I need to do to work on him is to get him to be more present out and talking to people because he doesn't
I would love to chat to him more.
Trust me, I've been working on him for months to try to interview him for the podcast. He keeps going, nah, go interview somebody else. That's more important than me.
The thing. It would be like, that would be such a great opportunity. It really would.
I know.
Tell him that I said that he has to do it.
He's got my huge respect. Yes, please tell him to do that. And in the streamer community, I have a lot of respect for Ammunition. I think she is one of those.
She's one of my big ones too.
Streamers. Yes, I love her because she just tells it straight, and
that's why I've always appreciated her stuff.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's great. If I could sub to her,
she's also skilled as fuck in general. Like, and Vipey is another one of those people too. Like he's just so like multi-talented, just like good at fucking everything. That it's just like can you share some of that? Like where is the DNA that I can inject to do the thing?
Absolutely. I mean, those are I would say those would be the.
I did angry.
Ones that I would. Yeah, I did see that too. It was amazing.
It was wonderful. Yeah, I just watched it muted, but I was like, yeah, get him. Anyone else?
That is. I think that's my list right now because and I'm sure I'm gonna think of somebody and be like, oh crap, why didn't I mention this person? So.
That's good. Well, you mentioned some before, like you mentioned like Heroes of Fitness, like Tim and Nicole earlier as well, and
Tim and Nicole for sure, absolutely. They're such incredible humans. My goodness.
Yeah.
So good at what they do.
So my peeps, I'm trying to remember. It's gonna be like some crazy like fucking Oscars speech or something, but I definitely appreciate you and like our. I feel like our interactions have inspired me to want to continue looking for people that actually fit with me to collaborate with, and that's why I wanted to do this so much, because our initial like the interview that we did, that was so fun, and like you just made it so, I don't know, I just feel like it's easy to talk to you and stuff, and we are in such similar situations that we can really bounce a lot off each other, and like clearly like it was like the simplest thing ever that we just like give each other ideas about and things like that. So that's like definitely an inspiration for me.
Thank you.
And then definitely people like Ammunition, and like girl, even like I've been on an Ariana Grande binge for the past week, and I know that it sounds a bit wanky to be like, oh, this celebrity, they inspire me, blah blah blah. She is also no bullshit. Definitely like in touch with her sexuality, talking about how people can be intelligent and still look sexy as fuck and have sex and talk about it and all of those things. I appreciate that so much. I really do. And she's so young too. Like to have such a mature outlook at that age is insane. And I wish that I had it back then.
Oh God, yeah. Like what I love about Ariana Grande is that she stands up against sexism and just does not put up with any of that bullshit at all.
100%.
And she is such a great role model for women. I love it.
Yes, exactly. And so like even us like 30/40/ whatever year old women are just like, fuck yeah, girl, you get him. Like,
Right?
like you just like
Yeah,
listen to
I'm
one of her
44,
albums
so-
and you're just like, I feel like a powerful fucking woman right now. Like, it's great.
Yes.
I love
Yes,
it. I'm just like
I
sitting
love
there
it.
doing my makeup like, yes, I will get this world today. It's wonderful. So yeah, I actually love her. She's great. And then some of the other ones that I had were Nicole and Tim, definitely. They've like been around for such a long time, like kind of pushing me along and all of these things, like with in terms of like fitness and getting off my butt, and like Nicole's just work ethic with everything, like that kind of thing is just, I appreciate it so much because it's just like a little kick in the butt all the time, just constantly. You just go into Instagram stories and you're just like, oh yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Like, I need to do this thing, I remember. So them for sure. And then Kitty Plays, actually. I just love her fucking positive outlook on everything, and like her like she just has this like intrinsic like spirituality about her with things.
Yeah.
In terms of just like always seeing the good in stuff and always being so positive and floaty and dreamy and loving everything that she does, and like letting herself relax and take holidays and like all of these things. Like, that's I see all of that stuff that she's doing, and it's just like, oh, that's just so nice. Like, even just like looking, even just seeing what she does is just like 5 seconds of your life that you're just like, oh, I just feel so nice right now. Like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And she's doing so much. Like, she's fucking getting it, and I appreciate that. And then like Valkyrie is another one. I've been following her for like the longest time, and I think her ex-boyfriend Sony actually introduced me to her originally. Like, as in like through his content, I kind of got to know her and follow her and all of that stuff. But so Valkyrie, like, her success kind of found her a little bit. Like, she was working so hard for a long time, but she wasn't necessarily one of those streamers that was just like, this is my job, and like it wasn't a business thing for her for a long time, I don't think. And I got to know her because I was I had been following her since before I worked at Bandai, but when I was watching her content, Sony was still streaming a lot of WoW, and she was streaming a bit of WoW when they got together, and then she started playing Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. And she played a lot of Dark Souls, and it was fucking hilarious, man. Like, her personality shines no matter what she plays, but like, it was just hilarious. And so because I was working at Bandai, I just wanted to make sure that like she was good, and like, does she want any Dark Souls stuff? Does she need anything? Blah blah blah. Can we promote her? Like, if there's any way that I can connect her to our console team, like, let's talk about it and stuff.
Right.
Even though it wasn't really my thing, but I knew that she was into it. Hello, Millionaire. Welcome. Hello. So yeah, like her, watching her journey and her growth and her drive and things like that, that's super inspirational to me. I love seeing that. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, her ex Sony, I say ex, I mean, let's call it what it is. They're still friends, but everyone knows them as having been a couple until recently. But anyway, they're both absolutely wonderful, and they both still love each other and whatever. So don't worry about that. No drama, no shade. They both like inspired me because he actually gave me the recipe that I have every single day for my smoothies after gym.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was, because he's really big on like fitness and mindfulness and like all of these things that I really love about keeping the body and mind happy. He's basically like the epitome of that. He shares a lot of that type of content. A lot of his like, he's a very aspirational guy. Like, he knows kind of what he wants, but he puts a lot of importance on mental and physical health and things like that. And
right.
and feeling good and looking good and like all of those types of things, which I really appreciate having that reminder every day to like look at myself and be like, am I feeling myself today? Am I feeling good in my mind today? Like, do I need to do something to like change that or whatever? And like they're both just so genuinely sweet and kind and wonderful, and so like I appreciate them so much for that. Yeah. And then so many things. Kai Berries, oh my fucking lord, this woman, she has so much drive and like works so fucking hard. It's obscene. And I'm so grateful to like have her in my, like she's helped me with a lot of stuff with like YouTube and like trying to work out what the fuck that anomaly is and what one can do with the thing. And so yeah, like every day that I see her do stuff, I'm just like, thank you for doing stuff, because now I feel like I can also do stuff. So that's like a big thing for me. And then also my parents, because if they weren't so accepting and like wanting to actually learn about what I do so much, like they're interested in everything. They want to know like how does things work functionally? How does business growth function in this sector? Who are all of these people? What do all of these people do? What is the drama? What's the tea? What shade is going on? Who's saying what to who? Like my parents know everything. And them giving me the opportunity to do that stuff, and my dad being the guy that is like, let me like he's proactively like setting things up for me to at least have the basis to try to build myself up to be successful, if that makes sense. And so that inspires me to want to do it, because they help me. Again, they are the ones who give me things that take away the stress. And so that is like, that lets me do stuff. So like that's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's a lot. I know it's a lot, but like I soak in a lot every day. That's why I follow, so everyone's like, why do you follow so many people on Twitter? What the fuck? And it's like, because Twitter is legitimately like my news feed for the day. When I'm just checking it out or whatever. Like if 5 people are tweeting about the same thing, then shit's hit the fan somewhere, and I can like get a sense of what's going on. So yeah, that's like that's all my stuff with that. Woo!
I love it.
Yes, so many humans that are wonderful, and you should follow all of them most likely, because they're great. And then, with all of this in mind, what are some goals that you'd like to reach this year, and how will you do it? Because this one's like a weird thing, right? Because as we said earlier, there's like all these people that are just like, I want 500 subs, and I want X followers, and I want like, it's like, okay, sure, great.
So how do you structure that when you're a content creator and you're like, okay, how do I set myself a goal for
like these are my metrics, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for some people, I think that, you know, like their goal would be, this year I would like to get closer to being able to apply for Twitch partner, or you know, stuff like that. Or hey, I would like to make more money just being able to support myself, maybe to move to part-time work and be able to stream more. Kind of furthering yourself towards the goals that you're trying to achieve. And so that's the thing, like, you know, yes, you can put metrics on it, but it's tough because a lot of this is so subjective. So for me in particular this year, I tried something new this year, and it kind of came up during some of my podcasts. Actually, it was inspired by coffee when we did the Jules and Coffee Hour, New Year's like goal setting stuff. And
I didn't have a chance to check that one out yet. I wanted to for this, but I didn't get a chance to yet. I will,
that's okay.
though.
So it kind of evolved into a conversation where we said, what is your word for 2019? And
I saw that.
Yeah. So I tweeted about this too, where I said, you know, coming into, like, Coffee said his word was going to be balance, because balance is a very difficult thing for him. He's working
Yes.
a full-time job, streaming a lot. He's got a lovely, awesome wife and family, and he wants to be able to spend time with them. And then also trying to do all the things for Heroes Hearth, right? So there's a lot of things that are just easily able to go out of balance. And my 2019 word is rebuild. Because for this year specifically, you know, I had been, well, how do I put it? I fell on my ass pretty hard when my divorce went through in 3 years ago. I went from, you know, never having to worry about money because my ex and I made a lot of money together, to all of a sudden now I'm budgeting to the nth degree. You know. And then I thought, okay, well, you know, now we've got I kind of worked on this plan where I was like, okay, my rent's too high, and because of the divorce, I have money from the house, and so I need to buy a place in order to get my rent and housing expenses way down, because it's stupid, but you have to basically own in order to pay less. And so I wound up buying a place and said, okay, now I've gotten that in order. That's great. And now I'm going to be working on my own just kind of stability and, you know, personal stability of things. And then I lost my job.
Yeah,
like,
right. And then it like throws another spanner in the works. So you're like, well, fuck, what now?
Right. And so I thought that I was picking myself back up again, got a part-time job working as a podcaster, and I thought I could just kind of fill in the gaps with starting to build up streaming and working on more commissions with chainmail, and all of a sudden that other job is gone. So the rebuild is rebuild my financial security, because I need to. And it's also to rebuild my, you know, continue, as I mentioned before, rebuild my confidence in myself that I can do this on my own, which I know I can. But when you've kind of like, so I feel like this year was, I had made steps forward, and then I took all these steps backwards that were beyond my control. So then it's just, you know, you go through, like, I went through losing my job, I'm not going to lie, in June was a real huge blow to my self-esteem, because I thought it was going to be the thing, right? I was a big part of this one community. And when I met you and I talked to you on the interview, I've always kind of felt like the Heroes of the Storm community was where I wanted to be, but I always felt like I was behind this glass wall watching everybody do this wonderful thing, and I just wanted to be a part of it. And
I mean, I get that too, even just living in Australia. Like, I've always been that. Yeah, no, 100%. I've always been that, like, outside person who, like, doesn't collaborate as much, or doesn't, like, when I try to play with people, my ping causes problems for them, and so it's like, no one wants to play with me. And it's like all these things. It is very isolating, for sure.
It is very isolating. Yeah, and so, you know, I had this community of people that I was so ingrained in, and then suddenly the position that I had was gone, and I didn't feel like I belonged there anymore.
Thanks.
And so I walked into the
Lesson 3
situation
to
with
Carrie.
with, you know, kind of working with Heroes Hearth and working with the Heroes of the Storm team, and starting to build in that, you know, like, so I felt like I was opened into this community and welcomed in, and it felt so wonderful. But before that happened, oh my God, I felt so lost. And during that whole, like, kind of the summer, so June, July, I felt really lost.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, yeah, just didn't, like, and I isolate when I'm lost. Like, I isolate myself from other people. I don't talk. I don't interact with people. I just shut down. And so with that, it was rebuilding my confidence. And that's why I'm streaming now, to be completely honestly frank with you, is it's pushing me out of that introvert zone that you and I have talked about before.
Yeah.
Where you could just retreat to there and stay there because it's nice and soft and safe.
Yeah. 100%.
But streaming pushes me out of it. It makes me happier, even though sometimes I go, I don't want to stream. No, you're going to go stream. God damn it. And I go and I do it. And that's the rebuild that I've been doing. And so rebuilding the goals, the dreams, the things that I want to do, I have to get the financial stuff underway. So looping back to a very earlier part of this, when Jipweb gifted me a sub, that means so much to me because I've had to cancel all the subs that I've had for everybody who I love dearly.
I have very few also. There were some that there are some people that I was sub to for like on and off 4 years or something, and then once I went full time doing this, I'm like, well, bye.
Yeah.
I mean, like I still watch and support them a lot, but I just can't. Which
and
sucks when you know like there are other people like us, and we know that it's so helpful to like have that sub, and it's super appreciated, but it's like we just can't.
Yeah. I mean, I have been literally, I have felt, and I will say this to you, I have felt horribly guilty that I've never been able to sub to you. And because I love you. I know you don't care. I know you don't care, but I do. Because I love you so much, and I literally just want to be able to do it. And but the last whatever,
to the
6 months plus that I've really gotten to know you, and it's never been the case.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah, and that just... so I've had to unsub to people that I've been subbed to for 2+ years. It breaks my heart so much. But you just look at it and say, this is what you have to do.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So when I know I've made it, when I know I'm back on my feet, is when I can put that sub in there for a tier 1 sub and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I know I've made it.
Thank you, Lyjan. Thank you. By the way, let me get you a little. We got these little. So look, this is a new thing that Jules talked me into to like save me from all of this stress. Get rid of this. I have to leave them there because I want to take some photos. But this is our new like sub jar, and there are these beautiful little like, and we're gonna have some fairy lights in there and stuff. It's gonna be wonderful. Thank you, Lyjan.
So awesome.
Yeah,
and Carrie gave me an idea for my stream because I'm a chainmail artist.
Oh, tell us about it. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now for my stream is for everybody who subs, we're making a community chain. So I'm adding parts to the chain, a section of the chain for every sub, and they get to pick their colors for it.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. And that was Carrie's inspiration for sure. We literally traded
we traded ideas. And that's why I love and I think that it's so important to collaborate on stuff. And I've always thought this the whole time that I've been like, even just working, I call it working professionally, but I mean like working in a corporate environment or whatever, like sharing ideas and stuff is so important because even if it's not your thing, if someone else can help inspire something to improve that, like that's so valuable. And you're never going to be able to just come up with everything by yourself. Inspiration is so important.
And that was the third part of the 2019 goals is to rebuild trust. And
yes.
Because that is something that, and I think you probably relate to this really, it's very easy for someone who works in content creation to be taken advantage of.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
And I have a really tough time. Like, I'm honestly just being able to do this with you makes me incredibly happy because I feel like I'm in a safe spot.
Yeah.
But I don't always get to feel that way, or I don't always get to feel like I'm, like if I could message you and you would like not steal my idea, like literally like. You know what I mean?
Totally. That's why a lot of people like keep this stuff like keep it secret, keep it safe. Sorry, Legend.
See, I got you. Happy New Year.
Look at this.
Jesus. Thank you, Legend. I love you. I hope you're doing awesome, by the way. Legend's a fucking OG, if no one knew. Legend has been around in and out of this channel for quite a number of years at this point, I'd like to say. My buddy Legend. Thank you so much. That's super generous of you.
What a great donation.
I completely fucking forgot what I was saying. There was something.
We were talking about trust in other content creators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much like stigma around that too. Like people stealing my ideas and like this thing was my, and it's like, bitch, please, ain't nothing fucking unique anymore. Like it's like it's not even like, yes, it's one thing if you completely take an entire thing someone has created and completely recreate the thing like that. Sure, that's disgusting and horrible and should never happen, especially if they're profiting from it. But that's where like the inspiration part comes in. Is like if someone inspires you, tell them that they inspired you and like show them in the work that you created that they inspired you. Like there was someone, fuck, I can't remember her name. Let me just find her really quick. Oh, here we go. Gothic's model. So she posted recently a walkthrough on how she does her amazing video intro, which gave me a shit ton of fucking ideas, which I will 100% follow up on this year at some point, because I need to redo a lot of my branding. Because I need to, there's a lot of stuff that goes into my whole goals of like trying to make my business more self-sustainable and things like that. So it's not just like my stream is my primary source of income. Like let's look at other things that we can do outside of the actual stream time. Like I want my stream to be where, yes, a lot of my content comes from here, but it's my primary source of interaction with my community as well. Because I don't have a lot of time to, like, if I'm not streaming, it's tough for me to like spend a lot of time typing messages in Discord and things like that, because my body just fucking hates sitting here. So, but yeah, so like she posted that and I was like, Queen, I'm gonna fucking hit that up at some point and just message her and be like, thank you, you're amazing. So yeah, like fucking tell people like that they inspire you. Don't just low key be like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna yep. Like it's like saying like there are cosplayers out there who primarily their type of cosplay is they have a lot of like pre-purchase stuff or commission a lot of items for their cosplay, and they're a wonderful model for carrying that cosplay, and they pose beautifully and they can transform themselves completely. But but then there are like some people who like, you didn't make that, therefore blah blah blah, you're stealing shit and blah blah. It's like, bitch, please, no, they're still creating art, they just do it in a different way to how some other people do, and they still credit the people who they purchase these items from or that they commission works from to be able to make that look complete. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with getting help from where you need it and getting inspiration from where you need it and all of those types of things.
Yeah, here's a really good example of what not to do, where you can see the difference.
Yes.
Back when I was starting to podcast and we were streaming on Twitch, to do the podcast, there was another aspiring podcaster team that would come into our chat and start plugging their show in the chat.
Oh, I have feelings on this shit.
Yeah, and it gets worse. And so it was like, okay, you know, that's kind of rude, whatever, but whatever. And then after, so what they would do is it was back in the days where Mumble was still a thing. And after we were done, right? I know. So when we were doing the show after they were like, guys, if you want to have a chance to hang out afterwards, we've got a Mumble server called TTT After Dark. Now, my show is named Torn Think Tank. They took the TTT that we called it and said, we're just going to create this Mumble channel called TTT After Dark, which seemed pretty benign. Yeah. Except that they were pulling people into this Mumble to propose ideas for their own show with these people.
That's crazy. What the fuck is that?
I know.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. No one does shit like that. But they do, but it's like stupid.
They do. And so one of my fans was like, she's like, Jules, I just want you to know this is what they're actually doing in this Mumble. And I don't get bitchy very often, but I went bitch mode. I went full on bitch mode. And I just said, you do not come into my chat to take my fans to a place for you to advertise to them. If you want to go out there and do your own show, do your own damn show. But don't use my chat and my fans to build your show. Let them come to you. Yeah. And there's that. And then as I announced a couple months ago that my show was ending, I had a guy who messaged me in DMs and Twitter. He listened to my show for about 2 weeks. The show is 6 years old, by the way. Yeah. And said, hey, I heard that you were ending the show. Do you think I could take it over? I think I could, me and my friend could probably do this. That's not thing.
It. Just make your own. Like
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I've worked 6 years to build this up, and you think you just can have it? Like,
Yeah.
what?
That doesn't make any sense.
I went off on this guy. I went off. Don't do that shit. That is not collaborative. It is rude and insulting to content creators. Do not try to get your own leg up by getting in there. But
that's crazy.
I will help anybody who has questions. I mean, I was getting message on Instagram about podcasting stuff the other day, and I'm like, that's fine. I will share everything I know. I'll share all my knowledge with you, and I will help you as much as I can. Just don't steal my shit. Like, literally, don't steal my shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh, man. Yep. So those are some examples of what not to do.
Yeah, I had some similar stuff too. But then on the flip side, like, I know that there's a culture of like people who I know that this is a tangent that I don't even want to go down myself because I already tweeted about the clusterfuck that it turns into. But I know that there are a lot of people who are like, they like drop into channels and like, I was thinking about starting streaming. Do you have any feedback on how can I do it? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a fucking show right now. Like I'm just gonna like stop my show and run a workshop like right now. Like,
yeah.
What? And so I can definitely understand why a lot of people feel like there's no information out there, or people don't want to talk about those things, or that there's some weird secret source or that kind of shit. And that's because you don't know until you get to the point where you're in that situation, but you don't know until it happens that the second you start helping people with those things, that's literally all they talk to you for. They don't talk to you about anything else. They don't want to know about your day. They don't want to know about like what you enjoy about certain games and what you don't. They literally only watch your content and only message you in DMs to work out how to better their stream themselves and ask you questions on how to stream.
Yeah.
And that feels so fucking shit. It feels so fucking terrible. And so it's like, well, it makes you not want to help people because you're like, I do this because I enjoy interacting with humans. You know, I mean, I prefer interacting with humans on the interwebs than like, that's just, I just love doing this. I love entertaining. I love learning about different people's backgrounds and things like that. And when it's limited to like, so how do I get more than one viewer on Twitch? I've been streaming for 4 days. How do I do the thing? And it's like, I can't. Have you been on the platform before you started? Like, did you have you seen a stream before you turned it on? Like, I don't know how to help you at that point. But yeah, so like, I just thought I would throw that out there because that's like it's like similar to what you're talking about in terms of people, because it feeds into that whole, you know, how you said, like, don't come into my show and like advertise stuff to your fans for like certain things or whatever. That it feeds into that very much because that turns into not people messaging you being like, hey, I really admire what you do and I would like to, you know, I'd like to know like how did you manage to get this particular thing working or whatever.
Right.
It takes it from that into coming actually while you're doing the work, while the show is occurring, and being like, can we just stop the show right now and talk about something completely different which is irrelevant.
Yeah. Can you just tell me right now, like, what kind of webcam you use and what your microphone is?
And it's like, there are links everywhere. What do you mean? You have this information. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so frustrating. And because, I mean, I feel like, and I've seen streamers do this, which I absolutely freaking love, which is that when they start answering all these questions about your stuff, hey, you know what? It would be awesome if I'd be happy to tell you more if you sub to me.
Yeah, yeah. Right?
Pay me a little bit of money so you know, let's do a little give and take here.
And then like the flip side of that is like, I've also experienced people who like, just because I genuinely don't enjoy their content or haven't had a reason to like really support them, it's not like we're friends or something. Like, it's just like someone who I know of in the community who's like trying to start doing their thing or something. And I don't know, I guess like maybe I didn't reciprocate some support that they assumed that I would. And so they just like block you completely. And it's like, okay, like that's not how you, I mean, you've just like burnt something that you could have worked at better, you know? So yeah. I don't know. All that shit is weird to me. And so one of my goals in terms of if I don't enjoy this, I will not do the thing is like, mate, listen, if I do not have the time, if it is going to be stressful to me to answer that DM, if it's like a really quick question and I can answer it quickly and then it turns into like a whole fucking essay on like how to build a marketing plan when there are like, you know, courses you can do online to learn about that shit, then I will most likely not answer.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of those. And it just turns it will eventually over time turn your community from a community of people that you genuinely enjoy their existence and their presence and joking with them and learning about them and broadening your horizons in terms of how you view the world. It turns your community from that into people who are just trying to do what you do, and the easiest way to do it is to ask you questions instead of learn about it themselves.
Right.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
So, and if anyone is wondering why people suddenly stop answering your questions, that is most likely why. They just don't say it. They just don't talk about it. But that is how it is. There you go. You heard it here first.
I mean, the best way that you can
very common,
the best possible way you can connect with people is to be a part of their streams and being a part of their community. Just be a part of, you know, say hi to the streamer. You know, what I do a lot of times, especially, is I will rotate between everybody's streams that I've interviewed or that I've spent time with, and I just like I do this Carrie all the time, Carrie, and then I'm off to somebody else. You know, just say hi, letting you know that I'm here and I love you, and then you know, and like
sometimes you got to like we know that we're all fucking busy and stuff, like we understand that, but there's a difference between like actually building a friendship with people that you actually mesh with and trying to force friendships with people because you think it'll get you something.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's like professionally or whatever. Like you can tell, like you know when there are like certain people who are just there for the sake of being there versus actually cultivating a relationship with you, because there are other like there's not just a stream to hang out in. There are other places to interact and other conversations to be had and things to talk about, and if those kinds of things don't happen, then there's a clear pattern of when you kind of see certain people pop up, and their perception of you when you pop up in certain ways is going to be such because they don't know anything else from how they've interacted with you.
Yeah, and as content creators, we are at a distinct disadvantage to you because we've basically put our lives out on the internet.
Yes.
So you know everything that we talk about online, and you've absorbed all of this, and we don't necessarily know anything about you.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, you know when we go to BlizzCon and you meet someone who's from your community and they've said all these things like, "Hey, let me see a picture of Astro" and all this stuff, and you're just like, "Whoa, dude, whoa."
And that's the other thing is like I seem so active and energetic and things on stream, and I know that I probably let a bunch of people down at BlizzCon from appearing a lot more subdued or anxious or something like that, and that's because I've never hidden the fact that like in real life people exhaust me. It's not your fault, it's not personal, it's just that the interaction of being up and around people and things being busy, and also in the back of my mind having work to do. I'm at BlizzCon to stream. I need to mentally prepare myself for that. I might have interviews. I have to create content. I need to run around and record stuff for my vlog. I have shit that I need to do. And so I want to talk to everyone. I want to meet everyone. But chances are, more often than not, I'm not going to have time to hang out unless it's actually like a meet and greet situation. Just because I'm so fucking tired. And my brain cannot. Like, I'm thinking about, I'm trying to talk to you, but I'm also thinking about all the shit that I need to do that I don't have time to do because I'm on a work trip right now. And so there were like a lot of times that I had to kind of be like, I love you, but I need to go now because I'm literally dying because I have this virus and I just want to like sit quietly at a dinner table and idly listen to my boyfriend talk to his mate while I eat.
Yep.
And not say anything. Like
that was literally our only interaction at BlizzCon this year, was because, you know, because it was just crazy and whatever, and you, poor thing, we're so sick, and you were on your way to do something, right? And I was like, hi,
I know, I was
like,
so
I
disappointed. No, that was because we were in a group as well. We were in, like, because so when I saw you, we were walking past because we were on the way to get our passes because we were with the Australian Blizzard PR guys, and we had to go, like, everyone was waiting around for like half an hour waiting for the PR guys to show up so we could go get our passes, and then we had like no time to stop because everyone was like, boom, let's go get our passes, and then the line was like 8 years long, and then by the time we came back you were gone, and then we had to do some shit, and I was sick anyway, and I didn't want to like fuck some shit up, and yeah, it sucked, but it's fine because we get to do stuff on the internet.
That's right. And you know what, that's the thing, is like, I literally understand it so well, and I feel badly that there are people that, you know, I've had to run away from in the other direction because I'm literally on my way to go do something and I have to be there at a certain time.
Yes. I know, and you feel so bad. You're just like, bye.
Oh, it's happened to me way too many times, and I've luckily never gotten one of those nasty grams to say, I hate you now, Jill Scott. You don't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But I've seen that happen to other content creators where I was like, I was waiting to talk to you, and then you just blew me off, and it was like, oh, I've seen that happen to other people, and I thought, oh shit. No.
And it's like, but sometimes you don't even know people are waiting, or they just like stand off so far away and wait for so long, and you're just like, are you waiting for someone else? I don't know.
Yeah. I never assume they're waiting for me. Are you kidding?
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to assume you're like waiting for me. I'm just going to like, unless you catch me, like, I'm outies, man.
I'm just some weirdo girl from the internet. Why
exactly. Why would you talk to me? But yeah, so like in terms of my goals, that was a heckin' tangent, but it was worth it.
It was worth it.
So some goals that I would like to reach, and I've been thinking about this a lot because, yes, growth on my social media platforms for my brand, for my business is super important, 100%. So if I say I want to get 10,000 followers on my Instagram channel, that is for business purposes. I need my Instagram to have that many followers, because for a business account on Instagram to be able to embed links in Instagram stories, for example, when I go live, when I have a sponsorship deal, when I'm trying to tell you guys about something really funny and interesting, when I'm trying to show you links to people that I find interesting and inspirational, I cannot include those in my Instagram stories unless I have 10,000 followers, because that's a feature that's follower locked. And so that's the reason why I'm aiming for that. But that's kind of a never-ending goal. Why do gaming streamers need an Instagram though? Sorry, that may be an ignorant question. Always imagine Instagram about selfies and makeup and fashion. Okay, so
great question, by the way.
Anyone with any brand should be active on every social media platform known to man. Why? Because you never know where people are going to consume things, and if you're running a business on like especially if you're a content creator, if your business stems from, for example, getting paid through sponsorships or doing deals or various marketing campaigns with various companies, more often than not, that's not going to just include your stream presence. It will also have stipulations on you need to tweet this stuff, or we're going to do an Instagram takeover or something like that. And also the numbers that you have on all of those social media platforms, as Joe said, it adds up to your reach, which is more tasty and delicious to potential sponsors and stuff who pay you money. And also it's different types of content, it's different ways to interact. There is different content on each of those platforms. My Facebook, for example, is probably the least interesting one, just because it mostly is reposts of stuff on all of my other platforms. All of my Instagram stuff is on there. All of my video uploads get posted to there. Just like random stuff that I'm thinking about is there, but that's mostly because a lot of people in my personal life like that page. It doesn't have that many followers. It doesn't necessarily make that much sense to have a really distinct strategy for that platform for me. This changes for everybody, by the way. Yeah. And I've been doing community management for like 6 years. So it's not like a cookie cutter thing. Every product, every brand, every business might concentrate more on one platform than another, or make a different type of content on one platform than another, and things like that. And so, yes, I can tell you, I actually looked at it yesterday, Madeline, and because I experimented a little bit with my Instagram in the past year, because if you're wondering how to grow on Twitch, by the way, this is another tip for you. So if you don't do the thing, if you don't actually stream, or you don't actually create the content, or you don't actually post anything, you will not have data to be able to know what or how or where or when to change shit. When I was looking at things, for example, what games I should play on certain days, which stream schedule works best for me, all these types of things, it can take weeks, months of doing different posts at different times, streaming a different game at the same time each day, and then a different game on a different day at a different time. You don't know until you actually have data to analyze. You don't know. And there are a lot of people on Instagram who post gameplay videos and things like that. For example, Volcray, she has a lot of really beautiful professional portraits. She also has just some mirror selfies and stuff. She does a combination of that and as well as some gameplay highlights and videos that she posts to her Instagram. I looked at my Instagram insights yesterday, and my gameplay videos that I was posting to Instagram were by far in the bottom of the barrel of my insights. There is no reason I should ever be posting gameplay videos on my Instagram. My Instagram is all about me and how I'm feeling and how I'm looking and if I'm feeling myself, and that's like my feed, right? When I'm feeling beautiful and how I want to feel beautiful and how I want to create that look for myself, that is what all of that is. Those are the things that perform the best on my personal channel. And then my Instagram stories are like a different thing. That's just like, it's basically a lot of whatever the fuck I want. Like, it's just whatever is happening, whatever I'm doing, a lot of astro, a lot of like whatever fitness stuff I might be doing if I have a chance to record anything, because most likely if I'm at the gym, I'm just doing gym stuff and I feel weird bringing a camera out. And then, yeah, so like having your brand present in some way on all of those platforms is really useful for both like sponsorship stuff and also for like getting to know you guys more on all of that shit. Like, if you guys want to know more about me, I guarantee you my Twitter and my Instagram stories are going to give you like the daily update on some dumb shit that I think about. For example, for example. I think every dude that's ever mentioned butt sex with a woman around me has also thought that talking about pooping is too much information, as if women don't have poop in their butts. Is that wishful thinking? Hashtag late night thoughts. So that's what you'll get on my Twitter, if that's of interest to you. Just FYI. So yeah, like I'm very, obviously I probably wouldn't have posted that if I was still working at a games company, but that's why I don't work there anymore, because I didn't like editing myself that much, and that's not for me, and I know it's not. So my goals are to be able to make the thing that I love so much, and that I get so much joy from actually doing the work. My main goal is to make that self-sustainable and to be able to support myself from that. Exactly how I'm going to do that in every segment of anything, I don't quite know that yet, and it does become more and more stressful over time trying to work out what some of those things are, especially because my biggest fear in my entire life that drives me absolutely fucking nuts is the thought of potentially something happening to my parents, because they are legitimately carrying me the fuck through my life right now.
Yeah.
Like in a little bassinet. And I am 31 years old, and so there is a lot of stress of like, and they're not forcing me to be able to just you know, have my financial stability and blah, blah, blah. Like they are aware that I know that I want to be working on these things, and they're not forcing the issue. Like, you better be making money or you're going to move out or whatever. They've never been like that. They have never been those parents. They've always been so supportive and allowing me to do the things that I need to do. But that is one of my most crippling fears. And I've noticed that every single moment that I have had of anxiety since I resolved everything else, every moment of anxiety and not being sure and questioning what I'm doing right now, all of that has without fail been due to the fact that I have this intense fear of something happening to my parents, and then what the fuck do I do? And if I'm not prepared, if I don't have myself in a position where I can, because obviously that's painful enough, and I can't even fucking fathom not having them around. But it's a realistic thing. Like, we just lost one of our family friends last year, and that was absolutely like horrific. Like, I can't. Being there for that family was so like sobering and just I can't. So yeah, that is like one of my biggest fears that I've never really spoken about. So
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, that's one of my big things. Because I love my parents so much, but then they're like so much more than just my parents. Like, they are fucking everything. Absolutely. So yeah.
It's funny because my parents have said to me recently, because of all of my struggles, is to say, you know, if you ever just wanted to sell your condo and move back here, there'd be a space for you.
Oh, don't you love that? Yes.
Yeah. I would absolutely hate it, but
yeah.
I would be miserable.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I loved being on my own and whatever, but I think I'm lucky that now, since I moved back, like, my parents were in the position where they understand things a lot more. So
yeah, I mean, my parents would be incredible to do that. The problem is that I don't think that the way that I could live a life as a content creator would fit with the way that their home is set up, with the way that things are arranged. Like, it would be very, very hard to do what I do and not just completely uproot their life.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't think they understand that. And honestly, I am a little bit envious of your situation to literally be able to do that, because I think that it would take a lot of load off of me if I could do it. I just know I literally could not. That makes sense. Totally. Everything. Yeah. But I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. And you just want to be able to say, I can do this without anybody else.
Yeah, like if I God forbid need to like take over the mortgage or something like that, like I want to be in the position where I can do that from doing what I love, which is this is it. This is what I fucking love. And I love doing these things. And then to try to get there, I want to do a lot more. So like last year I paid for my own trip to TwitchCon. I paid for like the hotel and everything for BlizzCon and stuff. And for, what was it? Like 2.5 weeks, it was about $10,000. So that's a lot of fucking money that I didn't have. And then immediately after that, the tax people were like, oh, remember all that money you made last year in America that you totally didn't have to spend to like move back home afterwards because it didn't work out? Well, we're going to need that $9,000 to pay off your student debt now. And it's like, oh, okay, I just spent exactly that amount going to TwitchCon and BlizzCon. Hopefully it'll be worth the fact that I went, I guess. Like it was literally just like, okay, I'm going to have to now look at this as an investment because this year I have zero plans to travel if it is not fully sponsored. I can't. For business purposes, like that trip last year was essentially my last hurrah until I get to the point where sure, like I would love to go. It's not that I don't want to go. It's just that it makes zero business sense to spend that amount of money to go to those kinds of events if I need to. So I would love to like do more hosting work and like do some events and things like that because I want to have more practice speaking more eloquently on camera and things like that. Like it's another one of those like professionalism things. Like I still want to have my personality. I just want to be able to do that type of work. I find it interesting and I find it fun to be able to do those events and interact with people and all that kind of stuff. So there was one opportunity that came up potentially, which I'm super excited about. So we're kind of on the way, and I was super excited too that I got so many opportunities at both TwitchCon and BlizzCon to like be on stage and like have that kind of experience, doing something more than just streaming, which was awesome. So there's like that kind of thing, which isn't like, okay, let's make it a measurable goal. I would like to do one live hosting gig and like have like video, like these like measurable type situations are where with these types of like New Year's resolution type goals, business goals, I like measurable, and we need this many followers. How are we going to do it? We need to rethink our Instagram strategy, blah 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 blah. I've never said that wasn't a problem when I was working in community management, because it's true. You need to have those metrics. You need to meet them. You need to have like, if like growth means you are getting more followers, genuine followers. But while you do that, you always need to be looking at your engagement as well, because what are having more followers if you don't talk to them or you don't resonate with them and that kind of stuff. So my goals are more of the goals that I'm focusing my mind on are more the how to get to the things that I'm hoping for my brand, which is growth and financial stability and all of those things. And then trying to inject some of myself that I would like to see more of in the world into those things. For example, like with my stream, like, bitch, I tried being PG. I tried fucking doing these. I can't do it. I can't do the PG stream thing, like unless it's like you are on camera, please don't do the sweary things. Like when I did the Overwatch event, like they were very specific in terms of you know, they are breasts, please do not call them anything else, no sweary times, try not to, like, you know, all of those things. That's totally valid because you're working with a third party who is contracting you to do a thing, to put on a performance or whatever. So yes, by all means, if that's the type of professionalism that I need to have for a certain job related to what I do, 100%, of course. But I'm so glad to have my brand and my space be around who I am, and the fact that I've been able to flourish and have more confidence in just being myself in the past year So I'd like to see more of that. And my dad has this brilliant fucking DSLR camera that he bought that we hardly use. It just heckin' sits there. So I want to break that bad boy out and take some nice as heck photos of myself sometimes, because I like that shit. And I go to the gym and I put so much effort into feeling good, which turns into looking good, because when you feel in yourself because you feel healthy and fit and wonderful and limber, and then you look in the mirror sometimes when you're naked and you're like, oh girl, look at that booty, you just want to share it with the world. Like, why the fuck would you just keep that to yourself? Like, there's no, why would you do that? You shouldn't. You should show that booty off if you want to a degree, because my parents and one of our family friends' dads does follow me on Instagram, which is why you won't see like heckin' lewdness from me, because my mum would just like come into my room and just be like, did you know?
Why are your tits out?
Yeah, like, yeah. So it's like, you know, if I could, I would be Jessica Negring all over the place, mate. Oh, that's another person who inspires me, because she just fucking gets it done, man. She really does.
Oh man, she does. She really does.
Yeah, and she puts up with so much. So yeah, like those are some of my goals. Like last year, I think one of my goals was like, I want to draw more and I want to read 12 books, and like I have my fucking bullet journal with like all of this bullshit. Like, I want to read 10 books next year and I want to work out 5 days a week and all of these things. And it's like, those were really shitty goals in hindsight, because like now my goal is not I want to work out 5 days a week. My goal is I want my back pain to go away. I want to be able to look good in candid photos and not try so hard to hide parts of my body that I'm just like, ugh. Like, I'm not insecure about them. They just don't look good in the photo. And I just want to make it easier for myself to just take a photo, and that's the photo that I take. Because I like taking photos. What of it? That's why I have an Instagram. It has my face all over. You guys like the photos, so I like the photos too. So like those, and then from my goal being those things, those like more arbitrary but meaningful things to me, I've rearranged my life and my schedule to be able to fit those things in to achieve those goals. So like last year, I think I've uploaded a video to YouTube every single day since last August. And my channel's been growing from it. I haven't been checking how much, or like forcing myself to be like, oh fuck, I haven't got 1,000 subscribers yet. Fuck my life, I've failed. My goal usually is to just see a green arrow in the upwards direction. That's my goal.
Yep.
How fast or slow that is doesn't necessarily, how do I control that? I can't control that. I can't control how many people choose to subscribe to me unless I do some bullshit giveaway that gains me followers, but then they don't give a shit about what I do. Like,
right.
It doesn't do anything.
No. Really, I think your YouTube is the goal for you. Seems to be the best to drive them here. You know,
yes.
Get them to come to watch you live and hopefully to subscribe.
A lot of that is, yeah. But then I also have a goal where I would love to do more interactive stuff in terms of doing more pre-recorded content. That's both to like build my technical skills in being able to do that. If I need to do some contracted video editing work or something like that, if I have to support myself, I'm totally capable of that. I've been working on Photoshop and video editing for years and years. I can do those things, but I want to get more comfortable with talking scripted in front of a camera, or like when I do my vlogs, get more comfortable just talking shit in public at a camera. Like those kinds of skills that I appreciate in other content creators I see getting on the plane to whatever event they're going to. Because I want to share more of my life and what I'm up to and what things are meaningful to me with my community, the best way to do that is through like vlogs and Instagram stories and all those kinds of things. Because just sitting here and saying it is different. It's nice having the interactivity, but it's still very sterile. All you see is this box, this portion of my room. You don't see much else. And so I want to definitely, like, there are some reviews that I'm planning to do a review, for example, on the sneak products that I have. That's not a part of my sponsorship whatsoever. I just figured since I have them and people had questions about them, it would be nice to talk about my experience with them and how it's been and all that kind of stuff. I already pre-approved with them that it will be an honest review, and, you know, some of the flavors I'm a little bit like, but, you know, we'll talk about it. So that type of thing, like, I want to get used to making better content like that. Like, if you saw my unboxings and shit so far, ooh, girl, it's just like a highlight from stream, and it's just like fucking abysmal. So yeah, like doing more pre-recorded stuff, taking nicer photos, working out my angles, working out like all of these things, just like little things that make me happy. Like, I don't want to sit down and force myself to draw every day, because that turns it into a chore. I want to express my creativity, and I would love to be more artistic, but I don't want to do it in a way that's like, you know, brush teeth, tick, draw a picture, tick, read a book, tick. Like, I want to do things in my life that make me happy while contributing to what I'm trying to build in my little empire.
Yeah, one of the things that you always do, and I very much admire this, is that you're always working on yourself as well.
Oh, big time, yeah.
I do the same thing, and I always feel like it. You know, I call myself a work in progress for a reason, because I really do feel like there's always going to be something that needs to be done.
Yes.
And something that needs to be changed or tweaked or improved upon, or that kind of thing. And so that is, and that in itself is great content. You make great content by doing that. So good on you for doing it.
This actually brings me to like the last thing. So from everything that we talked about, what is one of the things in your life that is truly most important to or for you?
Honestly, I mean, like, this is gonna seem so silly, but my cat is that in my life, mainly just because it's another. He is the thing that calms me down when I'm stressed out. He's the thing that I feel like grounds me when I feel like I'm lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when you're by yourself and you're doing this on your own, and I never feel like I'm completely doing it on my own, because my parents have literally just said, you know, don't worry about money. We will take care of anything.
Yeah, same.
You need, you know,
but then at the same time, you're like, yeah, but
no. And I am so fiercely independent that I do not want to take anything from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. You know, I mean, I sob like a baby every time they hand me a check and say, "Here you go," because mainly just because it's like I'm so grateful, but I wish that I didn't have to do that. You know,
same. Every time I go to the supermarket and my parents are like, I transferred X amount of dollars, and I'm like, no, I want to do it myself.
Yeah. And that makes it really hard for me. But it's what I'm proud of with that is that they want to do it versus feeling like they have to do it.
Like, if I could pay off the mortgage on this house for them, that would be life goal achieved. Like, if they didn't need to pay off the rest of it and I could do it for them, like, that would be it. Because this is our family home. This is it, and it's so big. Yep. Like, if we just kept renovating this for years to come, like, this place would be so valuable. It's already gone up in value so much just from where it is.
And it's so that isn't a little bit of an aside to the actual question, but what's most important to me right now is that I continue to come up with and be creative with my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That I continue to push myself. I'm very, very proud of something that I'm working on right now, which is a project with the Hero's Hearth team psychologist.
Yes, I'm so excited for that.
Yes, I am too, to be completely honest, because this is a lesson of life that I've really just tried to embrace so much. is that you have to keep your eyes open at all times for possible opportunities.
Yes.
Always. And I really do.
This music is perfect
moment...
for this moment. Sorry.
Is it really? I can't hear
it's like
it.
some like inspirational as fucking instrumental, like.
I love it. I can't even hear
sorry.
it.
I was about to shed a tear over here. Damn.
But like this particular moment right now is that kind of serendipitous opportunity where I gave you a compliment on something that I truly believed that was amazing that you posted, and you were like, "Girl, I want to work with you," and I was like, "Yes, I want to work with you too," and we just made it happen.
Yeah.
And that is like, I need to keep on grasping those moments. I need to keep on. So when I spoke to Romedy, it literally came out of me dealing with a situation where I was lost. I'd gotten taken advantage of by someone that I trusted. And when I admitted that I was going through a tough time on my podcast, Romedy messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm here for you if you need to talk."
Oh, that's great.
Right? And so I said, yeah, actually I do. I need to try to understand toxic people. I really need to try to understand a narcissist and why this happens to me.
Yes. And there's so many of them, and they always like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's like they just stampede through opportunities and shit, and it's like, how the hell? What?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
There's like this tornado occurs, and then you're just like, what?
Well, and I was feeling pretty beat up at the time because I thought I feel like I have a pretty good read on people most of the time, but a narcissist is really, 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 really,
they're tough to read.
Good at hiding who they are.
Yeah, 100%.
They're so good at it until it's too late and they've gotten you roped in. And so I spoke to him for, about 3 hours, just learning and understanding and getting emotional and just kind of dealing with it. And I was like, I really want to do something. I've always wanted to work on a project where I had a clinical psychologist or someone in the mental health industry that I could talk to about things like this. So like me being the everyday person and having someone tell me why this happens and help me understand, because I know that there's so many people out there that want to know this.
Yeah.
And that's how that project began.
I actually, like, that exact project was something that I thought about so long ago that I was like, I just want to like have a show with a professional an actual psychologist who knows shit that we can talk about these kinds of things with. And then when you mentioned you were doing it, I was like, yes, because it ain't me. Yes. I ain't gonna, I happen to not know anyone. I didn't really go out looking for people to like set up that type of thing. But then I was like, I don't care that I'm not doing it. I was just like, ooh, it's gonna happen. I'm so excited. Like,
yes. And the hardest thing is that like I literally did not. I've thought of this for years and years, and I just never had the right opportunity or somebody that I could do it with that had the time.
It's like we're meant to be.
I know.
You and I. Yeah, I like it.
I know. I feel that way too. And I know it's going to sound super creepy, but I totally feel that way too. Yeah. And I hope we do this more often. I would do this every fucking week if you wanted. Because I love this.
I love kerriTea chat.
I love it too. And, but these are the kinds of things that I want to make sure that I continue to do, that I continue to embrace, that I continue to notice and recognize, and that I continue to put out positivity in the world and make people feel like they belong, and that they're not alone, and that they're not feeling like that this is they're the only person in the world that feels that way, because they're never the only person in the world that feels the way they do.
100%. Nah, Matt, this isn't a podcast. We're just chilling. Jules,
yeah, it is kind of like one, but
yeah, Jules is a professional podcaster. She does she's a content creator, podcaster. She does all the things. And it's !Jules if you want to know more about Jules.
Thank you.
So yeah, she does these things professionally. That's why her microphone sounds infinitely better than mine, because she has the technology. But yeah, I just wanted to have a chat with her because we just have so many like similar thoughts on these things. So not Jules. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, anyway.
This happens to me all the time, by the way.
He's trolling me. So my thing that's most important to me is my mental and physical health and my happiness, because without those things, I cannot functionally do shit. Like, if I'm not happy and healthy, and I'm not and I'm like in pain or whatever, if I don't prioritize time to going to the gym, making sure my body's right, to making myself feel wonderful and getting enough sleep and eating properly, if I don't prioritize making sure that those bases are covered, I physically cannot work. I will sit here and stare at my screen for 5 hours and I will not get it done, because as much as I enjoy doing it, my body does not function. I can't, my brain is not functioning. I fuck shit up. The other day, I posted one of my videos a day early than it was supposed to be, and I was like, Lamau, it's fine. It wasn't like a catastrophic situation. But yeah, but having control over those things is awesome. And the reason why I definitely wanted to hit on that with you was because, as we discussed, like, I've seen like everyone sharing all of their goals and aspirations for 2019 and whatever, and I just saw so much concentration on follow accounts and partnership and all of these things, when it's like, bye Squix, where it's like, maybe you should, like, if those are the most important things in your life to you, that's actually what your goals are and what you're prioritizing in your life, you're inherently pushing aside your mental and physical health, your time with your family, literally anything else that comes outside of being on camera, online, all the fucking time.
Yeah.
That is what's happening when you consciously say, I want to do those things. And I know, because I've done that before. That was me when I first started too, which is why it's important to say these things. But yeah, like, it's just, when literally every single goal that you have is like stream metric, social media metric, and that's it, and there's nothing else in your life that you want to focus on to improve this year, like where is your body and mind going to be at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Like, definitely celebrate milestones. If you happen to get 5,000 of X or 10,000 of X or 1 million or whatever, like, celebrate the shit out of that stuff, because that's wonderful. And that means that what you're doing is working, because you are reaching those milestones. But don't look at the milestone and be like, I'm gonna get myself from here to there. I don't know how. I'm just gonna go live every day and pray. Like, that's not gonna get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're running on a treadmill. This is actually the whole thing about what we do is a constantly change. Like, you'll never hit that mark and stay there.
Yeah,
you will, because
never.
the treadmill will pull you backwards, right?
Yes.
And so you have to be agile, you have to be creative, and you have to have balance in your life, because you will burn
100%.
yourself out chasing what it is that you think you want, right? If you say you want to get 5,000 followers on Twitch, let's say, or I want to get 500 subs and maintain 500 subs. Okay, that's great. Get to that goal, hit that goal, but don't make that your life.
Yes.
You can't make that your life.
100%.
It's, ugh.
And the thing is, like, if that's all you make your goals, then you're telling yourself, these are the only things in my life that are important to me. Because I keep saying, this is why I don't like the whole, like, New Year's resolution thing. Like, these are things that, like, I will, on January 1, I will start going to the gym, because it's like, if it's that important to you, why didn't you go today? Like, things that are really that important to you, you will naturally make time for, and you will naturally prioritize in your life. And then fulfilling those things that are naturally most important to you will help you be able to do other stuff, because you're now happy you have done the thing. And for some people, it takes longer than others. Like, for me, it took getting blind drunk and stuck in bed for 2 days and putting my business behind 2 days in the new year, in the most critical time for some content creators. I was in bed doing fucking nothing for 2 days. It took me that to be able to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go straight edge, which is fine. It takes some people more than others, but you just got to keep in mind, like, just if like, you can't just keep saying, I want to wake up at whatever time, I want to go to bed whatever time, I'm not going to eat crap, I'm not going to blah. If you really need, if you need, not even just want, if you need to be happy, if you want to be happy, and the thing that will make you happy is to wake up at a certain time and walk in the sunrise, or work out, or you know, have your cardio session or whatever. If that is what you really need, then it'll just happen. You will just do it. The same as how, like, people who are struggling with their, like, home situation or whatever, like, eventually there will be a point where you just need to fucking fix it. Like, it will. Whether, like, you know, it's better to get help with that shit than not, but, you know, you will at least reach out. You will make the first step to do that.
Yeah, and we've lived, you know, we've lived in the last couple of weeks in the time frame where people are feeling forced to have to make changes, or to say that they're making changes.
Yes, and you don't have to. It should always be a thing if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest changes that I've made in my life have happened outside of New Year's, in just resolutions, and just saying, okay, this is where I'm going to start this right now. And so I've said this before on some other shows that I do, that we have this inordinate amount of pressure that people just wind up feeling like they have to just say something in order to fit into the crowd. And that's why you will see the gyms get packed right after New Year's, and 3 weeks later, they're back to dead again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now looking at it and saying, what could you do during the year, or what do you recognize about yourself that you may want to just adjust, change, you know, revise, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't even have to be around New Year's. It's just, now is the time to talk about it, because that's when you see all of these goals and things going around. But this type of stuff exists all year round, for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we could do something like this in, like, March every quarter or something like that, and be like, okay,
yeah,
so
right.
now
Where are we? How are we doing? But yeah, that's like all I had to chat about.
Well, girl, we just, like, I think we just did that for 3 hours. Holy
I know.
crap.
Good job. I thought it was going to take a while, but, you know, it's cool.
Oh, yeah. I love
Thank you so much for joining me. Patty's Day resolutions.
Like, for real, I would love to do this again, and, you know, if chat has something specific that they want us to dig into, we'll go.
To talk about. That's not how to fucking build a brand and learn to Google how to stream and shit like that, because there are other channels where you can find that information that isn't me. I'm just out with it now. I'm tired. Like, because I get messages from people being like, I've been following you for a while. I just wanted to know blah blah blah, and I'm like, if you've been following me for a while, you would have seen every time I've already answered all of these questions 10 times over, and then after they message me, they follow me on Twitter, and it's like, it's like, so okay, that's fine. It's like, I see you, fam. I see you. But yeah. Anyway, I need to pee really bad, so I'm going to let you go. Yes. But I love you.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming here and talking to me. And we should do it again.
Thank you, chat. It was awesome to see you guys. We'll talk soon.
But yeah, if you guys want more like kerriTea chat with Jules or anyone or whatever, let me know. It's not necessarily like an actual podcast. We're just chilling and chatting, really. I only had questions because, like, I had to structure it in my own brain how I'm thinking about these things. That's the only reason I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, I love you. Have a wonderful night.
You too, Day. Enjoy your stream. I'll be working about.
Yeah, we're going to play some games. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, I'll BRB. Thank you so much for sitting through our tea chat and saying some stuff. I'm going to run to the bathroom really quick because I've been fucking dying after, like, drinking all of this tea and all of this water for 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. So I'll be back. I love you. Okay, bye.